All right, let's move to old business, life safety items, capital improvements.
No updates at this time. The punch list items for across the street on the field are complete. We have a few minor warranty issues, just on stuff that needs to be either retightened down or, we had the goalpost realigned. It was loose with some of the wind that occurred during the spring, one of the uprights, but little things like that. Otherwise, we are complete with the punch list items. This morning, we did a 2-hour walkthrough with the different construction trades that are going to be doing the summer of 2016 work. The main entrance, the work will begin on Monday, June 6th, effective through at least the start of the school year. That entrance G will be closed. That will be the temporary staging area for both the roof work and for the main gym improvements, which are the bleachers, the floor, the ceiling tile, some paint. In regards to the capital improvements, we are looking at a new scoreboard, which I've already addressed with the board that's needed. We also are looking at a new sound system. We paid $1,500 to have a local sound rep vendor come in and do the white noise test, all the different sound tests on our systems over spring break. Most of those speakers in the ceiling do not work. They are burnt out. The head end equipment is over 20 years old. Some of that cannot be salvaged, so we will need a new rack and some new speakers. We were hoping that the speakers worked and we would only need a new rack of equipment. I know Dr. Keene was at one of the last competitions in that main gym, and that was one of the first things he came to see me about, was how the sound was muddled and you couldn't really hear in the stands. So we are getting prices on that. We're looking at doing some things internally and some things externally. We did get some quotes on that, and we might either have to go back out to bid or see if we can do some things in a different manner. And that's most of that to report. The one thing that we are looking at, in addition to that summer of 16 project, and I put Tim on a tight timeline and Joel on a tight timeline, but we should know pretty quick if there is going to need to be mediation on that concrete slab in the main gym as soon as that wood floor gets demoed. In the event that the mediation is minimal, I had Joel also get a separate quote on what it would be to upgrade the lighting to LED lighting. We updated that lighting 3 or 4 years ago with CFL, which are fluorescent bulbs. But having the opportunity to have the entire ceiling that's going to be open, there's a potential for about $30,000 to possibly redo that lights and get some DCEO money. They're supposed to be releasing some more DCEO money after July 1. And so that would be the only thing that would not have been touched. We would be updating the paint job, the new ceiling tile, new floor, new bleachers, and we would still have older lights. Now, it's not something that's required, and if in the event that we come through and we're on budget and there's no extra dollars, we wouldn't mess with it. We can get by with it, but there is an opportunity to increase the aluminums and the lighting by replacing the fixtures with LED fixtures. So I've just got some preliminary investigatory work going on with that. It becomes a moot point if there's the mediation and a lot of that. Remember, we put a pretty good chunk of our money in the allowance budget was for if we got to mediate the slab or raise that slab with the self-leveling. So if some of that doesn't come through, it's like one of those, that might be the last finishing touch we would need to put on the gym.
Do we know yet what the comment plan is going to be for the DECA funds? Will they fund that kind of light bulb?
Joe did some work on that. It would only be a few $1,000s there. Where he thinks there will be significant savings, and I'll discuss this in my, Tim and I will discuss this in our budget introduction next month when we give the board the temporary budget, where we think there could be some significant DECA savings or DCEO savings for the comment will be on those wall packs in the pool. Because they're a halogen type bulb and they're a significant amount of wattage. So what we've done already is we've swapped one out for an LED to see if it's creating any glare for the swimmers or any problems, or if anybody says anything. But we think that project would be able to pay for itself within a few years, and maybe cost us at the most $700.
Oh, wow.
Because the DCO grants for those types, to get rid of those types of bulbs are so high.
Okay.
So I'm watching those two items. But the idea that I want to propose here with that gym is just to keep it on your radar. We're basically giving that whole thing a facelift. It'd be like, the one last touch that, then you'd have new lighting, new paint, new ceiling tile, new bleachers, new floor. That shouldn't be, nothing should be touched then for, hopefully 30, 40 years.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Just like outside.
correct.
Kevin, what about the chlorine pump?
Chlorine pump has not been installed yet. We're still manually testing and monitoring that until we hear back from the state board. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks to approve your forms.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin on this side? On that side?
No.